Welcome back to Baking with Joy. Well, my son has requested a baked macaroni and cheese, a homemade baked macaroni and cheese. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. So what I've done here is I've brought my water to a boil. So I boiled my water. I brought my water to a boil and I salted it. And I used 3 cups of uncooked elbow macaroni, and I cooked it about 8 or 9 minutes. And so I drained my water, and so it's just slightly tender, because you don't want to cook your macaroni noodles. When you're making a baked macaroni and cheese, you don't want to cook your noodles too done, because it's going to bake in the oven. I've got my oven preheated to 350. I've got a 13 by 9 glass baking dish that I've sprayed with some baking spray. Some cooking spray. I'm sorry, not baking spray, cooking spray. I think it's actually olive oil spray. So, like I said, my noodles are just slightly tender, and I drained the water. So, I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this together. So, we're going to start. I've got 1 stick of softened butter. You want it to be like room temperature so it'll melt easily. And I cut, and you may not can see it, but I cut it up into little slices so it won't be just the whole stick trying to melt. I've also got 8 ounces of velveeta cheese. I had a 16-ounce block, but I'm only going to use half of it because we're going to be putting some more cheese in this. So I've also cut it up into slices. So we're just going to dump this 8 ounces of velveeta cheese and this butter into these noodles and kind of stir it around so it'll melt a little. I'm hoping it'll melt good, that it hasn't cooled off too much. But you just want to let it melt into the noodles. And so at this time I'm going to put my seasoning in. So, like I said, I covered 3 cups of uncooked elbow macaroni on the stove, and I put enough water in there to cover my noodles. And I brought it to a boil. I brought my water to a boil before I added my noodles. And I also put some salt in my water before I brought it to a boil. So the salt will cook into the noodles. So I boiled these noodles for about 8 to 9 minutes. So what I'm going to do is, I've got about a teaspoon of black pepper that I'm just going to toss in here. And I've got some salt over here. And because my cheeses have salt already, and I already salted my water, I'm just going to use maybe about a teaspoon, about half that teaspoon of salt, because I don't want it to be too salty. So let's kind of toss these noodles around in the cheese and the butter, salt and the pepper. I'm just going to stir till it gets at least partially melted. Like I said, I've got some shredded cheese. Now you can slice your cheese into this. And I'll show you how we're going to layer it. This is just one way of making baked macaroni and cheese. And I guess it would be the easiest way. But some people make a sauce, a thickening sauce on the stove to add to their noodles. And then, of course, add more cheese as you're layering it in your baking pan. But we're not going to be doing that. I have made it that way. Some people put eggs also in their macaroni and cheese, and I'm not going to be doing that either. So if you're in a hurry, this is really the easiest way to make it. But either way, making it this way or the way of where you're making your sauce on the stove and then layering it in your pan with added cheese is good either way. So also what I'm going to do, I've got about 2.5 cups of milk that I'm going to be putting in here. Now some people add their milk as they're layering it in the pan and fill it up halfway. You can do that also. I prefer to do it this way. So I think I got my salt and pepper stirred up good in these noodles. And I don't see any butter floating around. So I think my butter melted pretty good. It's just taking a little longer for my cube cheese to melt. But it will melt once we get it in the oven to bake. So I'm going to bring this over a little closer. So we're going to start to layer this. And you're just going to layer it in your pan. And that milk, of course, is going to soak up into these noodles and bake up nice. I'm going to move over this way so that will be even here. Okay. I think I'm going to put like 1 more spoonful here. Okay. Everybody, I've got an 8-ounce bag of sharp cheddar shredded cheese and an 8-ounce bag of triple cheddar cheese, which is a blend of mild cheddar, sharp cheddar, and Vermont white cheddar is triple cheddar. So I'm going to be using both of these in our macaroni and cheese. Now, most people prefer to shred their own cheese, fresh cheese, like the block cheese. Like I said, you can take the block cheese, cut it into slices, and layer it on here also. Or you can shred up your cheese. But I'm going to be using the bag cheese, of course. Like I said, some people don't like to use bag cheese, shredded cheese. But we're going to be using it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be using like a little of both bags. So I guess I've used maybe about half of that bag. And so we're going to go in with half of this triple cheddar. And it's going to be a real cheesy macaroni and cheese. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to finish layering our macaroni. And once I get my macaroni layered, I'll take this milk that's left in the pan and just pour it on top. And so this is what we'll be doing. And I'm sorry if I want you to be able to see. So all I did was empty up that pan, and I'm just going to spread it out a little. And what macaroni was left in there is now on top, and of course the remaining milk. Okay. So now we'll get this pan here out of the way, and we'll go in with the rest of our cheese. So actually, I guess I will be using all of this. Okay. Let me spread it out a little. All right, the rest of the triple cheddar. Everybody, that's my little puppy playing. Okay, so that's it. Clean up our mess here. And like I said, I've only used half of this 16-ounce block of velveeta. Okay, everybody, I got the rest of my cheese on there. I used 2 whole bags, 2 8-ounce bags of the triple cheddar and the sharp cheddar on top and on that first layer. So now all that's left to do is place this in your 350-degree preheated oven, and it will probably bake about 30 to 40 minutes. And after that, we'll be back to see what it looks like. Okay, everybody, our macaroni and cheese baked at 350 for about 35 minutes, and as you can see, all the cheese melted, and you can see a little bit of the milk back here, but it's not soupy. It's thick, but it's not too dry either. It's just a real cheesy macaroni and cheese. Okay, so we're going to do a taste test. I've let it cool so we can taste it because it was piping hot when I got it out. I've let it cool for probably about 10 minutes. So I'm going to dip some out right here. Look at that. Just look at that cheese, would ya? That looks beautiful. So I'm going to get some more here. Okay. Now, because my cameraman, my son, requested it, I'm going to let him take a taste test of this. And I think it's still kind of warm here. Be careful.
Very cheesy.
Cheesy and creamy.
Yes.
Mmm, smells so good. So everybody, I use Velveeta cheese, 1 stick of butter, salt and pepper. I wanted to tell you also you can use other seasonings in your noodles, in your macaroni and cheese. You can use a garlic powder, onion powder. You could even put a little paprika if you like a little spice to it, like a little kick. We just like plain macaroni and cheese. So we just use salt and pepper. And we used milk, a stick of butter, 8 ounces of Velveeta cheese, stirred into the noodles, 2.5 cups of milk, and remember, as I layered the macaroni noodles, I would top it with the sharp cheddar cheese. I used 8 ounces of sharp cheddar and 8 ounces of the triple cheddar, which was the Vermont cheddar, mild cheddar, and sharp cheddar also. So I'm also gonna want to take a little taste test. That is so good. Not dry, real creamy, real cheesy. So everybody, this is the easy way to make baked macaroni and cheese. So everybody, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I hope you have a blessed evening.